So what do you think it takes to be a successful software company?
There are very large automation groups out there that, of course, you cannot go one-to-one on their business model. So I am what you can call the old-style software company, which is very passionate and very focused in solve some specific problems. In our case, it's real-time data management and visualization. And if you put that passion on that specific niche, whatever that niche is, you'll be successful. Right. Because the very large players, they are dealing with 5,000, 10,000 product lines in their portfolio. And the innovation on the software was always created by those smaller companies with passion, very strong feelings to solve some specific problems. And that's what I've been doing.
Is a Factory Studio, so everybody who's watching the podcast, they hear me drop Factory Studio all the time as a best-in-class solution. You know, in our opinion, it's essentially Ignition in .NET. That's what I always say. We envision Factory Studio long-term as being the data hub in most enterprises, right? So in Industry 4.0 applications, we envision a unified namespace, and all hardware and software and all users, all consumers of data are both consumers and publishers of data into that namespace. And we see Factory Studio is that namespace in the middle, right?
The longevity, I talk about the advantage of being a .NET product, that it runs across any Windows platform going back to XP Service Pack 3, right? So if the same version I'm running on my Windows 10 computer can go back through all those flavors of Windows that have come out before, and Linux, right?
And on that .NET, I will add also some information on that, because we have the server-side components, and we can have some solutions that's the server and client on the same edge device. But in a large system, we have the server-side components and we have the client-side components. Mm-hmm. So when I put all that emphasis on the .NET, the people ask, oh, what about the new web standard, HTML5, JavaScript? I say, we support those standards in our platform for the client-side tools. So when you deploy an application with Factory Studio, you can use HTML5 and JavaScript to create the UI. But when you go to the server-side components, the Microsoft servers, the .NET platform is amazingly powerful, robust, and stable environments.
Yeah, I know Walker says all the time that the Factory Studio is just blistering fast, built on .NET, and
it is.
But you also, like you said, it's web-based or web server-centric, where the clients can run an HTML5 or native. You also have a native app.
Oh yes, we have a native app for iPhones and iPads. So
native clients on the operating system.
Exactly.
You got a native client, and then
we have native clients in Unix.
And you guys are already on version 8.1, so you're a little bit ahead of the game. So,
for me, so the advantage of the .NET for me, I'm not a .NET developer, I'm a Python guy, but the advantage of the .NET for me is using, so Factory Studio for the power users out there leverages IntelliSense to be able to browse all of the scripting methods. So one of the most powerful parts of Factory Studio is that you can use IntelliSense to browse the .NET libraries that are available for you, the DLLs that you want to use to develop within the application. So
also your tags too.
Yeah, you can. That's right. Use IntelliSense to view the actual tag objects that you've created. Mm-hmm. Tags are actually objects in Factory Studio. So actually, everything's an object in Factory Studio. Yes. Literally anything you add in there is an object.
An alarm group, a device.
And so they're all browsable through IntelliSense. Mm-hmm. So it becomes, what's amazing though, what's the most amazing part of it is that you're not just developing within the Factory Studio environment. you know, all the things that you could do in Visual Studio where you were going to build your own custom application, you could do from inside of Factory Studio because Factory Studio leverages all of the same tools. So and they're browsable. So it's a really
Sounds like you like Factory Studio.
I mean, it's a
earlier-
really powerful platform. When people ask me why does Factory Studio stand out, it really stands out for 3 reasons. Number one, because it's native.net, and because it's a all-encompassing platform, it literally is the most bleeding edge platform on the market. That is, you develop a single application for all of your uses. So I don't have to build a HMI visualization, a SCADA visualization, and a mobile visualization. I build one visualization and use them in all environments. That's number one. Number two, it's blistering fast. I mean, and there's no way to overstate just how fast the visualizations operate. So one of the challenges you have in SCADA is having high resolution updates of your data on the screen, specifically in like SPC calculations. That goes right out the window. I mean, we see some updates in Factory Studio of 10 to 100 cycles per second. I mean, of the actual visualization itself. Wow. And I think that's a direct result of the fact that Factory Studio is built in .NET. It's so close to the motherboard. There aren't a bunch of layers it's got to pass through to redraw the visualization. So that's number two. And then number three, it's wide open. Right. I mean, it's literally a wide open platform. One of the things we haven't talked about is pricing, right?
Yeah.
Your platform's the least expensive platform on the market.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. You need to be able to write one program and spit it out to 2 different PLCs if you want to. I can have an OEM may have to spec Rockwell hardware and he may have to spec Siemens hardware, but why should he have to write 2 separate programs? It's the same idea with you guys. You give developers every possible tool they need to build solutions. If I need to do it purely database driven, I can do it with Factory Studio. If I need to do it purely tag driven, I can do it in Factory Studio. If I need to do it MQTT driven, asset model driven, if I want to write everything custom in .NET, if I want to write everything custom in C#, if I want to write everything in Python, I can do that now. That is the future of the industry. It's placing no restrictions, especially in software, placing no restrictions on the developer's capability to develop a solution the way that they want to. That's ultimately what sets you guys apart.